Mr. Lynch, life's will be night forever. Good morning, Mr. Mercy, Mr. Simply, Mr. Mercy, Mr. Simply, or 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 simply, David, buonanotte, Lynch. It's January 25th, 2026, and it's Sunday. It is the last Sunday of this regard January, or of January, yes, 2026, and it's Sunday. In Naples today once again totally cloudy sky. This is very cloudy, with this few days, hours ago, I think it was raining. At the moment not, but comunque very close. Sometimes it's also similar, no? It's also a wind, cold and heavy. No? It's between a little tough, they are 14 and 12 minutes. 50 and 6 Fahrenheit 12 Celsius. This means that it's really cold, like this because fact cold is for the winter period in Swiss was for Yasu, si può considerare fact the 4 years last June 17 fact they overcome 4 years of fact the parts last per summer in general. Perhaps some non remember if you follow me during last summer, I think nobody. Also fact to really overcome 4 years so now also for the winter overcome them, and yes, to be precise, it was summer 21, in particular 16, 3, 44 and 3 p.m. in Italy, where as perhaps some of you remember from Boris Chinese, suppose indeed I'm sure at all the dream things for him, so it's intention purpose, effect view to Chinese, spectrum perhaps paradox for me, I didn't do soon the collaboration for the spring summer youth, spectral spring Swiss register, soft for the youth, or the summer adjective for the youth, once again, soft so not as in general for the sister period. Kasi кажете, аз играте да криза, трисфони, усан фигузен фигутуеда, абсолютно коплим, бете, yes, fact, bete, non in general, but it's the contrary, because considering the period, it's winter, so it's cold, so should complete. At when I say it's absolutely we can complete, I'm referring this referred to me, in particular perhaps really this period. Because yes, I don't feel cold, but I feel cold less than other people thanks to season of practice. I do follow since some years, but through practice, and which I always start cold, and when I come the winter periods, winter parts periods, I always try to come to which I can speak with su practice, and this year in the first part, first comment with gymnastics, so if you are interested, so in this case, the first part was comment with gymnastics, I repeat to know what are these practice, I don't know if for più, ovviamente think or not, fact because if il cold, ovviamente think yes, però non dispensa da think 90-95% dei feel cold, or avere in general some way for me what's good instead about the scatto situation do I think I can say something just for it's better to system so can be feeling so much good this Ingrid, I think at temperature this is just before 15-6 Fahrenheit 12 Celsius at the important thing is atmosphere anticipated queste foto vedi sa. Yes, le cortine sono le cortine in generale. Should use the most perfect. At least I suppose, in fact, soon as the sky, once again, repeat, see just before, totally cloudy, wet, cloudy, more gray and cloudy, and that's also with rain just in the hours before it was raining, but I think very good, considering the trends of last 2-3 weeks, last 2-3 days. See the according to radio, I think it's possible, not possible. Se most sure pratica, että itse late afternoon, because obviously it's lady early afternoon or between late afternoon, but we dark black and also that if not better say we have rain because repeat to us before was raining. Oh, let's see what happens. But as well as no bisogna tenere pazienza, wizards si può essere inizio clear, so come skin today very clear. Bad, so say it is. So from the mythical window with the new what to in flowers, longer flowers mixed between the plants. This is a new curtain since summer one. I'm casting also birthday, in particular third birthday of the previous curtain, beautiful curtain, beautiful the branches. Or even if not, even better, surely better. On this shot, practically the first part of the video to which I showed you better scatter sfiangera for this classical mythical in this classical mythical room, because perhaps there is also the other mythical window, the other mythical room. Or for a broader perspective, also from this other practice is for the beautiful, for the previous curtain bit, and the beautiful curtain with the beautiful painted branches, and perhaps also for the first thing, or whatever. If I don't remember exactly sure, the guy was still going to imagination, so I mentioned it, in this shot, I was saying this shot, so sorry, this effect, but when there is the glory shot also is, but or when there is, because I have to measure, now I'll see the latest picture sent, so sent is for the previous bit before time pages, but perhaps to say for the first thing, I was infantry, this time, I don't remember exactly, sure, yes. And now I'll ready for the new curtain, sorry about repeating expression, also for time, sorry, latest picture synthesis, but also and always better visible for me, its entirety, green is a shot, si quanti mythical legend shot. As regarding reshoot do not visible, aspetta mi sento visibile sotto prezzi importatori per supportare studio is not visible now. As you read the latest picture sent for the continuous for it, because various for it, so which once again also and always better visible for me in its entirety, in this shot at 6.3 shot. And finally, from a mythical keeper, my GX 40 APG 625 also in the case of the micro shot. Eva, grazie a molti people for the reports getting into a most problem system. So myself, also pesquisa. And finally, I hope you remember at breakfast. Today it's late in general, also in fact, I say late from us. In fact, I'm reading it's late in general and also above all for us, but not at breakfast. It sounds at the same time, it's but the ball important is very from the regulation industry to restart fucking back sentence. You can believe it, restart it. Finalmente mi drinking milk at finale in parte metti stesso. Tre cose di sera cose male tri su straccio. Repeat close really close to the little smart for a little another not more no yes. They are just all which is 14 and 12 minutes. But the important issue is remember that in some way also today 14 minutes old. I'm really hungry. And as we always say, breakfast is the most beautiful forward. Absolutely. As you know, it's most 1 year. I think also more than 1 year. I think more than 1 year. But also, in fact, I always lost considering the effect of X formation on Friday. It crashed practically in the weeks of 5 Friday ago, during the week of 5 Friday ago, and yes, it was the 5th also the reports and beautiful red, black, and also white, that if the model comparison with the previous. I also remember to me the first one, the second one, all things that to know, particularly for the Friday's weather report. But I repeat, it should be time, this should be time period. At the promise to do it 1 day or 1 time, and so now time c'è better very day, which started with the things, the middle of the speech, and from the shots, obviously, not a joke, we were talking about so 1 year, but it's almost new, and from these other biscuits, under my favorite fact, there are many beautiful combos, beautiful biscuits, and yes, I think it's one of the most expensive types of biscuits, chocolate chip cookies, or the cookies is chips chocolate, or chocolate chips. En die foute mistake was foute biscuits minster Lynch. But in particular, there are 2 things that was read, and this is what to me first one shot anche a coffee così. Ma tu sei quick shock, in fact, una shot francamente the shot in inflast think 7 months. E se non si chiese lo conto, ci invita in video, sono i damage better su better. One day sono i damage better su better. Or there was one is quick, because if you finish it now, there is one thing to wrote it, one thing I think 198, 99, these associations lo secondo should be the time to be. And I promise you that 1 year so much better date. And so since that month or that day I butter inserted it once again in the milk, so very good news. And when this also affecting as breakfast, questo momento that's in particular a mega bomb. And if so che that's period a joke was what must funny so of course many things the first time so that period. And if it's some also così toll in quasi breakfast was a mega bomb. And second thing is about CS fact if there are CS la con the Italian Syrians, mi sa sempre position. Absolutely because with the PAM c'è una second position. Because at least position in the Italian PAM dark chocolate chip cereals. Fa questo I do recommend the motivo because they are really super bad. Also tomorrow is supposed to be for tomorrow what to go lepe. Now I'll see.